Last year it was a 1-2-3-4 finish for Hendrick Motorsports. This year it was the fourth Hendrick driver, finally capping off a win by each Hendrick driver in 2022, and it only took to the 11th race at Dover. First was actually Kyle Larson at Auto Club, then it was Alex Bowman at Las Vegas. Then William Byron won at both Atlanta and Martinsville. And finally, the 2020 Cup Series champion Chase Elliott got his first win of 2022, his first win in 26 races, and his first oval win in 46 races today, Dover. His second ever Dover win. He won it in 2018. But, good day for them overall. Not much else to say. They came into this race as the points leader. No wins, only one top 5 actually through the first 10 races leading up to this one. 7 top 10s. They've led some laps. Martinsville was the most of those laps. But other than that, it's been a good season, but it's just been good. They've been kind of back half of the top 10 for the most part. As I said, only one top 5 up to this point, and today was their most complete race. It seems like they haven't had any complete races. It's been halves. The first half of Martinsville, they were amazing, led a ton of laps, were top 3 almost all the first half of the race, but the second half, they finished 9th or 10th or something. Then you look at some other races, and like Auto Club, they were good at the first half of the race, but then that was that middle part after he hit the wall where they had to kind of get it all together and rally back, and then he got put into the wall by his teammate. But it's just they have not had a complete race for the 9 team. Today they finally put it together. They got a ton of stage points. They led laps, and of course they got the win. Martin Truex Jr. and Ross Chastain, it did get ugly on the track. It could have gotten ugly off the track, but late in this one, Truex and Chastain had been battling for third for a good chunk of the last stint of the race, had been battling each other most of the day, actually, whether it was for first, whether it was for second, third, fourth, fifth. They were in the top 5 most of the day. And on the last lap, Truex decided to get a little aggressive, hit the back of Ross Chastain's bumper, and then he went spinning. And they had a confrontation on pit road. No fights, no punches thrown. They just talked to each other. But Truex had expressed his frustration towards Chastain over the radio. And, they talked after the race. I don't know what was said, but it never got ugly. But Truex not happy with Chastain, so that was interesting. And Stenhouse got a top 2. He got a second-place finish. It's been a tough year for them as well, but they had a great run today. They were in the top 5 for a good chunk of the race, actually, and took advantage on that last restart to get second long green flag run to end that race. Tires were a concern all day. We saw multiple tires go down, guys having to pit under green, guys hitting the walls, spinning out from flat tires. I mean, it was a pretty exciting race. One of the better Dover races. Dover hasn't exactly put on the best racing over the past few years. They lost a date on the calendar because of it. But this first race with the next-gen car, it wasn't too bad. We had some really good battles. One of the most memorable was actually late in the race, the second to last restart. Ross Chastain and Chase Elliott were side by side for 5 to 6 laps before a caution was thrown because of a spin. I think it was Tyler Reddick, but they were having an amazing battle side by side, very similar to Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman the last couple laps at Las Vegas, where they were really close to each other, side by side in the corners, on the straightaways, not giving an inch, but at the same time, it was clean, it was fair, no one was running each other up the track, no bumping was going on. Very good racing from those two in that little stint. I can't remember who it was, but there was, I think it was Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney at the end of stage 2. They had a good little battle going there for the lead. There were some good battles for positions throughout. I think it was Almirola back in kind of the 13th to 15th area, split 2 cars for whatever 13th or something. That was a pretty cool move to see. We saw a lot of 3 wide, 2 wide, multiple grooves going on. Of course, this race started yesterday. The first 75, 76 laps were run. And then the rain came, and it pushed it to today. Cleaned off the track, a green racetrack, and, that changed everything, really. The tire wear was up, and, the rubber had to be laid back down through all the laps being run. And it made the race actually quite interesting. The strategy sometimes is based off fuel, but we actually saw tire wear. That's something that I feel like has been lacking the last few years, but we saw tire wear today, which I really enjoyed seeing. The tire wear, because the drivers had to manage the tires. They can't push hard every single lap. They have to think about the long run. They have to think we have to pit at this lap. I have to make it to this lap, that kind of thing. So it was really great to see like actual tire wear, not like slight tire wear. But at the same time, with that tire wear, we also saw guys stay out and actually hold off some guys with newer tires for a good bit, especially earlier in the runs. Like Ryan Blaney and Harrison Burton stayed out with about 6 to go in the second stage, and Blaney held on to win the stage, and Burton only fell back to 6th or 7th. So yeah, that was very interesting to see, very exciting to see. But then once later on in the run, those tires would fall off, and it would be a hard fall off after about 30 to 40 laps. I think it was one of the, I can't remember which stint, but it was like Justin Haley, AJ Allmendinger, and a couple other guys who had stayed out on a previous restart, and they fell back like it was bad. Like they were in the top 10, in the top 5, and then they were in the top 10 for a bit, and then after that they were barely on the lead lap. But yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about here. Tires were falling off. Denny Hamlin barely beat his tire off pit road at the end of stage 1. He had the dominant car early in this race, and his tire fell off. They didn't get it on, and that has been a theme this year. With the single lug nut, if you don't get it on, that tire is falling off. It's not like the old wheels where you had 5 lug nuts, and if you got 3 on, it would hold on for a bit before they came back to pit road. You missed the lug nut, that wheel's falling off. We've seen quite a few suspensions this year. Because of that, I couldn't even go through them all, but there have been a lot. I would have to guess it'd be a record for most suspensions so far, just due to the tires falling off. But yeah, I guess let's go through the results, and then we'll talk more while we're going through the results about what happened today. But Chase Elliott gets his first win of 2022. So finally, Hendrick Motorsports gets all 4 drivers in victory lane. It's the second straight season that has happened. Last year, all 4 drivers won, including Bowman, Elliott, and Larson, all getting multiple wins. So another great year for Hendrick Motorsports so far. They lead the points. All their drivers have made it to victory lane. All their drivers are in the playoffs in the top 10, top 5 of points. So another great year for Hendrick Motorsports. But Chase Elliott, it's been so long since he's won on an oval. Last year, both of his wins coming at Road America and Circuit of the Americas. So finally getting an oval win. And Dover's usually one of his best tracks. So it's not a shock. I picked him to win prior to the race, but not too big of a shock to see him run so well at Dover. I think he qualified 4th. So good run for him. Great run for him. They needed that win. I'm sure, that thought gets into your head when you see your other 3 teammates win and you still haven't gotten there yet, even though you're capable of it. I'm sure that gets in their head. So now that they finally got that out of their heads, they can go focus on getting some more wins later in the season. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., a much-needed second-place run. They've been struggling this year. I think I saw something somewhere that said their best 2 finishes prior to this in the year was 10th and 21st. It's been a terrible year. They were outside the top 30 of points entering this race, and they got a top 2. They're pretty far out of the playoffs at this point, so I think a win is almost necessary at this point if they want to qualify for the playoffs. But a second-place finish is really good, and it's not a super speedway, which is what Stenhouse is known for. And JTG's had some great runs there as well at super speedways. This is at Dover, so really impressive run for JTG, really impressive run for Stenhouse. That's just a really good day. Ross Chastain, 3rd, another amazing run for him. He's got 5 or 6 top 3 finishes this year. 2 wins. I know he got a top 3 at Phoenix. He might have gotten one at Las Vegas. I know he led a lot of laps at Vegas, but Ross Chastain is looking like a championship contender right now with Trackhouse. He's led laps at every type of track. Dover, Vegas, Coda. He won Talladega. So he has looked good all around as a driver. The team seems to be clicking on all cylinders, going off on all cylinders, whatever the saying is. They've just looked really, really good this year. And I've been extremely impressed by Chastain this year. Another great run. He led some laps, got some stage points today, ends up finishing 3rd. Christopher Bell, 4th, had to overcome some issues, had some right rear damage after having a loose wheel. They had to fix that up. He went a lap or 2 down, ends up finishing 4th. A really good kind of recovery day for him. The first half of the season so far wasn't great. They were in the 20s in the points, and now I believe they might be knocking on the door of the top 10 of points, so they put together some really good runs as of recently. 5th, Alex Bowman, one of the best cars all day, to be honest. Top 5, top 10 most of the day. Him and Kyle Busch got trapped a lap down when They had pitted under the green flag. A caution had come out for a wheel falling off of A.J. Allmendinger's car. And so they had to try to rally back. They took the wave round, had to start at the very back of the field. And he rallied back for a 5th place finish. This race he won 1 year ago. Good finish. 6th place, Kyle Larson. Hendrick Motorsports, good day except for Byron. Byron just crashed in that practice on Saturday, and, it just never really had the opportunity, I guess. 7th place, Kyle Busch. Good day for him. He led over 100 laps today. He had one of the best cars as well. Just like with Bowman, got pinned a lap down, and, semi-recovered from it. Not exactly fully. 8th place, Chris Buescher started on the pole for this race. Had a good day, led 20 or so laps, got some stage points. A really good day for RFK overall. I know Brad Keselowski was up there in the top 10 for a bit, but really good day for RFK, especially Buescher. He was in the top 10 the majority of the day, and as I said, he led laps early on. 9th place, Kevin Harvick, solid day for him. 10th place, Eric Jones. He's having a pretty good season so far. 11th, Justin Haley. We had said that he was one of those cars that stayed out. He led 20 or something laps, and he ends up getting an 11th place finish. 12th, Martin Truex Jr., top 5 car. As I said earlier, he got a little bit aggressive as I see a spider on my curtains. Let me kill that real quick. It's dead now. Where were we? Martin Truex Jr., as I said, top 5 car most of the day. I don't know if he led any laps. He probably did. But he was top 5 most of the day. He was up there 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. That's what top 5 is. But he had one of the best cars. This is one of his best tracks. He has a few wins here with different teams, Furniture Row, Joe Gibbs, DEI. So he's always been good at this track, so we expected him to run well today. But solid day. Gibbs and Hendrick looked the best 2 teams today, as I said earlier. 13th, Chase Briscoe. 14th, Daniel Suarez. Suarez overcame a spin late in this one to finish 14th. 15th, the last car on the lead lap, Cole Custer. Only 15 cars on the lead lap. 16th, Bubba Wallace. 17th, Michael McDowell. 18th, Corey LaJoie. 19th, Eric Almirola. 20th, Brad Keselowski. 21st, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin's 2022, except for Richmond, has been awful. Like, the worst luck, the worst everything has happened to him this year. They had probably the best car in that first stage, led 60-plus laps. They were amazing. They come out of pit road first, but Denny Hamlin's left front tire came out of the pit second, and it went downhill from there. Hamlin, he had to go to the tail end of the field, because he had to come back in and get a new tire. And then I'm pretty sure they probably got a penalty from that. And then he came back, and he was up to 4th. He had rallied back to 4th. I was like, okay, Denny Hamlin's still in this thing. Then Cody Ware spun, and Denny Hamlin was doing a good job avoiding him. And then Cody Ware was still spinning, and he just clipped Hamlin, and it destroyed the right side of the car. They had suspension damage. They had body damage, and they finished 21st. I mean, seriously, Denny Hamlin looked like the best car early. His freaking wheel falls off. And then later in the run, he comes back for the top 5. He's in the top 5, and he gets hit by a lap car spinning. Terrible luck. 22nd, William Byron, as I said, just never really on it all day. They tried a strategy call to get him up into the top 10, but unfortunately it didn't work out for him. 23rd, Austin Dillon. 24th, Harrison Burton. 25th, Ryan Preece. 26th, Ryan Blaney. Bad weekend for Team Penske. Blaney, he won a stage due to strategy. Other than that, bad day. 27th, Ty Dillon. 28th, Todd Gilliland. 29th, Joey Logano was involved in a wreck. Finished 4 laps down. 30th, Tyler Reddick. 31st, Kurt Busch. 32nd, Josh Bilicki. 33rd, Allmendinger. 34th, Cody Ware. 35th, BJ McLeod. 36th, Austin Cindric. He got in a crash early in this one, and they did not get the 6 minutes on the damaged vehicle policy. They tried to protest it, but that failed. Anyways, honestly, one of the better Dover races I've seen in the last couple of years. Lots of exciting passing, racing, side-by-side action. It seemed like you could pass from the top, from the bottom. Obviously, you could pass easier on the bottom. But, it was possible to pass on the top or the middle. The tire wear was significant enough to make an impact on the race, which made it really fun. We saw a lot of different leaders in this one. We saw different strategies at the end of stages and stuff. It was a pretty fun race. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. Dover hasn't been great the past couple of years, but today it seemed pretty good. 8.5 out of 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. It was a pretty darn good race. I enjoyed it. I didn't have the highest expectations entering this weekend, but it wasn't like, you know, I was waiting for like a Texas Motor Speedway 500 miler. So, you know, I was like, it'll be a meh race, but it ended up being a good one. So I'm excited that this race was good. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, Hendrick Motorsports, woo, they get another win. Hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your Monday. It's Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. We got Darlington Throwback Week coming up, and we got the F1 Miami Grand Prix coming up. Looking forward to that one. But everyone, have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. Like, subscribe, make me happy. Yeah, that'll be the end of this video.